All right. Good evening, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So glad to have you here. And I'm excited to have you here because I hope that you will tell the person who invited you, thank them because they care about you. They love you. Okay. They really, really care about you enough for you to see this powerful information. For those of you that don't know who I am, my name is Dr. Roz. Everybody calls me Dr. Roz, full name Dr. Rosalind Shaw Belt. But as you can see, I've done a lot of different things. But here's what's really important that I want you to know is who we are. We're Akana. And Akana means in the hands of God. A little bit about our company before we jump into your results of your scan. You have a scan done. You sat in front of one of our scan coaches, and you probably took some pictures, or maybe you've gotten the printed version of some of those results. But let me tell you a little bit about our company. We launched on 4/20 of 2019 with a line of CBD products, essential oils, and wellness. We expanded that in 2020. And then in 2021, you're going to hear me talk about this a whole lot, the flat belly lifestyle. This whole flat belly lifestyle was launched in 2021, and we really have over 30,000 customers now. But we're really proud that we reinvest 1% of our gross profits to empower undeserved communities. We have a full medical advisory board. And let me tell you something, we've got PhDs and MDs and DDs and naturopaths and RNs and LVNs and social workers. We've got people that are herbalists. We've got fitness trainers. Let me tell you, and the beauty of this medical advisory board is they don't just advise us, but they endorse our products, not just for their patients, but for themselves and for their own families. But here's what may be really alarming, and I hope to really shock you with some stuff tonight. See, in 2020, nearly 700,000 people died from heart disease. But guess what? When did they find out? When did they find out? 25% of them found out at death. And 90% of those that found out at death, if they had known earlier, it would have been preventable. And you may be really surprised to know that the third leading cause of death prior to COVID-19, COVID became the third leading cause of death during the pandemic, but prior to that, it was medical error. Yeah, studies show that there's been so much error of diagnosis of things that we shouldn't have been diagnosed with that led to death. Now, if you saw my bio, my little short bio, you'll know that I'm not a medical doctor. My doctorate's in theology and divinity. So I always like for us to hear from the mouth of wellness experts, doctors and physicians and wellness experts. So let's hear just a little bit about what we're going to be talking about tonight from the mouth of a doctor.
2/3 of adults are now overweight or obese, and we have an epidemic cascade of debilitating disease that's overcoming the country. There's no way we can sustain the current style of care with the epidemic that we're creating with our diet and lifestyle choices.
The diabetes, the arthritis, the heart disease, the dementia, the obesity, the cancers are affecting about 70% of deaths. All the data is that those 70% of deaths and morbidity are largely lifestyle related and preventable.
Most kids by age 10 in the U.S. already have fatty streaks in their arteries, the first stage of atherosclerosis, leading to heart attacks, strokes.
Here in American medicine, we operate from the disease model. We are in the business of treating sick people. We are not in the business of trying to prevent people from becoming sick.
When you look at chronic disease risk, all the things that we walk around worrying about, actually dietary choices trump smoking when it comes to those risks.
If I could deliver one message to the researchers who are looking for the cause of diabetes and the cause of clogged arteries and the cause of high blood pressure and the cause of obesity, I would tell them the answer's in 3 words. It's the food. It's what Americans are eating.
Absolutely amazing. He said, this is a medical doctor saying it's the food. And you heard the other doctor talking about, they've been to medical school 8 years, 10 years, 12 years, however long it took them to get through medical school. And then he says, we're not in the business of preventing sickness, treating sickness. That's why our CEO coined a phrase called suicide. We're digging our graves with our fork. We're literally committing suicide with our diet. Too much animal protein and processed food, salt and sugar. And what about a sedentary life? How many of you remember? I'm a baby boomer. Back in the day, you get home from school, you couldn't wait to do what? Get outside. Now they're in front of the computer. always in front of the computer, in front of your Game Boys and all these kind of things. And then we have the nerve to say that, well, my mother had it, my grandmother had it, and we've been programmed to believe that we've got to have it too. But even Dr. Oz said our genetics load the gun, but our lifestyle pulls the trigger. So here's the thing. We eat like they ate, so we have what they had. So hopefully by now, you've got your bioscan, your results of your bioscan when you sat there with the scan coach from our company. And maybe you took pictures on your phone, maybe you've printed it. Well, let's talk about it. Let's take a look at that first particular bioscan. Now, on the left-hand side of that bioscan are all of the items that were tested. Next to that, you'll see the normal range of items where we want everybody to be. Then the third row are the actual measurements. Now, these are accurate, 85 to 95% accuracy. These are your results based on who you are, your date of birth, your height and weight. And then on the fourth column is the colors. And that's where we're going to focus our attention because that makes it simple to understand. We see 4 colors: green, blue, yellow, and red. Now, the green means normal. The blue means mildly abnormal or out of balance. The yellow means moderately out of balance. I like to call it out of balance as well as abnormal. And the red means severely out of balance. Now, notice this. Out of balance does not mean disease. It just means you're going in the wrong direction. We're talking about reading from the cells of our body, not just going and get a blood test and saying you've got something. We hear that all the time. But I need to know where to start because all disease is progressive. It starts in the cells, moves to the tissue, and then it progresses to the organs. So what am I saying? I'm saying nobody has anything overnight. It's over time. No one is a diabetic, has cancer, has high blood pressure overnight. It's over time. So when we look at this scan, we also see some colors on the left-hand side of the green, and we see some colors on the right-hand side of the green. The left means decrease. The right means increase. In other words, the left, if it's in the blue, yellow, or the red, that particular item or thing that was tested is not working as efficiently as it should. If it's on the right-hand side, it's overworking. It's the wonderful way that God made our body. If something is not working efficiently, something else has to overwork just to keep us alive. So now we have something, but we just don't know how we got it. What's causing the increase or the decrease? What's causing the lack of efficiency or the overworking of that particular item? That's what the bioscan shows us. What's the source? And the thing that hinders us and causes so many people to be in a state where they have disease is the lack of oxygen, mucus and parasites that build up in our body and in our blood vessels over time, toxins. Do you know that just going outside, breathing air, you get toxins in your body? And again, when you did that bioscan, we're talking about what took place in your body from a teenager up until now. What about deficiency? I mean, there's so many symptoms that take place just because of vitamin deficiency. This is showing you vitamin D deficiency. You could be experiencing all these things. Well, the bioscan helps us to see that. And last but not least, is your body acidic or is your body alkaline? And I'll tell you in a few minutes why that's important. But because you took that bioscan, you're able to find out where you are. So now let's look at the very first report. Cardiovascular and cerebral vascular. That means the heart and the brain. Now, if you look at this testing, everything all the way down to the last 2 deals with the heart. The final 2 on the left deal with the brain. And remember, this is the normal range and these are your measurements. But now I'm going to pair some things together because they just kind of go together. When you see one up, you'll see the other up. So let's look at the first and the third testing item. Blood viscosity and blood fat. What is that? Blood viscosity means thickness of the blood. So if you're looking at your test results right now, and you see blue, yellow, or red on the right-hand side, which it will be on the right, and you see blood fat also on the right, it's saying blood viscosity means your blood is a little thicker than it should be. Why is it thicker than it should be? Because of that blood fat. Where is that coming from? That's fatty tissues. That comes directly, what did the doctor say? It's the food, it's the diet, it's the animal protein, it's the mucus that builds up in our body. And then we see cholesterol. Is your cholesterol in the blue, the yellow, or the red? If it's in the yellow, more than likely you're probably already, or either you've been told to, take some kind of cholesterol medication like a statin. And if it's in the red, I'm pretty sure you're already on it. But here's the thing about it that we got to know. It's like having a trashy blood vessel. That's what this is causing. And that's why people that have high cholesterol and thickness of the blood, they got to put them on blood thinners to thin your blood, because that's leading, follow what I'm saying, it's leading to heart disease. But it does not have to. And you're going to hear me say over and over and again, it's reversible. You can reverse it. And we're going to teach you how to reverse it just by making certain lifestyle changes, like getting off of some of this cholesterol-rich foods. Now, if you recognize anything up here and you say, oh yeah, that's me right there, that's me right there, then that's why. And it's up to us to make the necessary changes to go in the opposite direction. Now let's look at vascular resistance. You're looking at the fourth item on this particular test. It'll be on the right. If it's not in the green, it's on the right. If it's in the yellow or the red especially, you're more than likely have a high blood pressure situation. Now, you may tell me you don't have high blood pressure, but then I'm going to ask you the question, what's eating at you? See, it's not always what you're eating, but it's what's eating at you, and that's called stress. But when we talk about blood pressure, and I hear people say it all the time, my father, he was on blood pressure medicine all his adult life. But a lot of times we're diagnosed with hypertension or blood pressure, but we don't know how we got it. Where did it start? And how can I change it? See, when we talk about blood pressure, or the technical term atherosclerosis, when you look at the first circle and you look at the third circle, I ask this question all the time. Does it take the same amount of blood to get through to your artery, we're looking at an artery, as it would in first circle and the third circle? And oftentimes people tell me, no, look at that third circle. That's not the same amount of blood. But you're wrong, it is. Because that's the amount of blood that's needed to keep you alive. But because of the arteries and the plaque buildup along the walls of that artery, it's harder for the same amount of blood that would be in a healthy artery to get through. So it has to push harder. And when it pushes harder, what does it do? It raises the blood pressure. And there lies the reason why we have hypertension, high blood pressure. So what's the solution? Remove the plaque. So the medication just puts a Band-Aid on it, but does not necessarily remove the plaque, and it thins it so it can get through, so it can keep us alive. But how many people do you know that are on blood pressure medicine, but at some point in their lives, they still have a heart attack or a stroke? So if we would just remove the plaque buildup, it takes us back to a healthy blood vessel. Now, the next item that I'm going to look at, are going to look at three of them: vascular elasticity, coronary artery elasticity, and cerebral blood vessel elasticity. Now, what's the common denominator? The word elasticity. So what does this mean? Every one of our blood vessels are supposed to be very elastic, like a rubber band, so that the blood can just flow through and the oxygen and the nutrients that we need can just flow through. But over time, because of the plaque buildup, because of the animal protein that we're eating, because we're receiving toxins from the food that we eat, they're shooting up the chickens and the cows and the turkeys, because of the mucus buildup that's taking place all over our body. Now that builds up over time. Remember that test you took from a teenager up until now causes that artery to harden. And how many of you have heard the term hardening of the arteries? And if it hardens too much, it's in that third diagram down there, it begins to break, and that's called a heart attack or a stroke. And now they've got to go in and put a stent. But what would we do? What would happen if we just remove the plaque? And we're going to tell you before this is over with, because I know you're already asking me, how do I get the plaque out? Yep, I need you to understand that the plaque can be removed, and the same way that you can go in the wrong direction, we can reverse it and take it back to a healthy blood vessel that's elastic. Now, I showed you three different ones, right? Vascular elasticity, coronary artery elasticity, and cerebral blood vessel elasticity. So now we understand that the key word was elasticity. But what's the difference in these three items? Well, the vascular elasticity is around the heart. Coronary artery is on the heart, and cerebral is on the brain. So now when you're looking at your report, if you see anything on the left-hand side, blue, yellow, or red, it means that you're going in the wrong direction. And your blood vessel, whether it's around the heart, whether it's on the heart, or whether it's on the brain, is starting to harden. So we've got to, it's necessary, it's crucial that we get that plaque out. Now, the next item we're looking at is myocardial blood demand. You'll see it's on the right. If it's not on the green, it's in the blue, the yellow, or the red on the right. What does it mean? Every 60 seconds, the heart demands a certain amount of blood to get to your heart. So by being on the right, it means it's overworking. It's working harder than it should. Why is it working harder than it should? Well, you can look at the rest of your report. If your cholesterol was up, if your blood viscosity or your fatty tissues, if your myocardial, if your elasticity is over there to the left, then guess what? It's the wonderful way I said God makes our body. When something is not working efficiently, something else has to work harder. But please know this, over time, when something is working that hard, it gets tired of working. And so we need to clean this up. We need to clean up our bloodline so that we can not cause that myocardial blood demand, that demand that required for the heart every 60 seconds to work so hard. And that's why you can be going up the stairs, you can be running, you can just be walking, and all of a sudden you feel a little twinge in your chest, and you ignore it, you relax, and you take a deep breath, and you say, okay, I can make it okay, but not realizing something's taking place on the cellular level of your body. Myocardial blood perfusion volume. On the left-hand side, look at your chart, look at your report. Is it in the blue, the yellow, or the red? Because the blood is supposed to flow. And the purpose of blood flowing to our heart is not just for blood to flow, but to bring in nutrients, to bring in the oxygen that we need. Do you know when you work out, you need more blood flow, you need more oxygen? That's why, you feel the heart rate going. And the same thing happens with the myocardial oxygen consumption. Every time you work out, your heart is contracting. And every contraction that takes place, there's a certain amount of blood to flow through. Is it having to work harder than it should because of that plaque buildup, because of those toxins? We experience this when we work out because our heart rate beats faster. When it beats faster, it demands a certain amount to come through, and now you got to have more of it. But what happens when you're not working out and your heart is still overworking? There lies a problem. Now we look at stroke volume. I'm going to pair these two together, stroke volume and left ventricular effective pump power. Now, stroke volume, don't panic, don't panic. Stroke volume does not mean that you're about to have a stroke. Every time the heart contracts, it represents a stroke, 1 stroke, 2 stroke, 3 strokes. So are you how well are you stroking? This is all talking about how healthy your heart really is. Left ventricular effective pump power, you heard, you see what the word says, pump power. So if you're looking at your report and you see to the left in the blue or the yellow or the red, you're not stroking as efficiently as you should. You're not pumping as efficiently as you should, but it's an easy fix. Yeah, it's an easy fix. You say, what is it? Exercise. I need you to do more cardio. I need you to pump it up. I need you to do some HIIT. I need you, and I don't mean you have to go to the gym and do 30 minutes or 45 minutes a day. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying you got to do something. And it's about being consistent. I worked out with a lady once. She was sitting in a chair and she was doing chair exercises. And so there's no excuse. You say, I got a bad back, I got a bad legs, whatever you got bad, there's a way to still get it done. And I was exercising, and I was huffing and puffing. And then she said, all right. And I'm thinking, that's it. And she says, that was the warm up. So I'm telling you, we've got to do something. And it's not just about to be fit or it's just to look good. It is crucial to your health. Left ventricular ejection impedance, looking at your report right now. You're looking at it. Do you see it on the right in the blue, the yellow, or the red? Let me tell you something. The left ventricle is responsible for sending blood to the rest of your body. Sometimes people tell me when we look at this and they see it's on the yellow or it's in the red, I already know they're having problem with oxygen getting to their legs. They're dealing with varicose veins, all kinds of stuff where they don't have good blood flow to other areas of their body, because that's the job of the left ventricle, to send that blood to the rest of your body. Coronary perfusion pressure. Do you realize that every artery in your body has a certain width? And when we have blood clots or when there's trash, I'm gonna call it trashy blood, because when we talk about mucus buildup and toxins, that's trash traveling, and that it puts pressure on the walls of those arteries. So we're looking at your report and you see that on the right, and you know that it's having to work harder to get that blood to flow through. And then the last thing on this particular report is the brain tissue blood supply status. Now that's kind of self-explanatory because your brain needs blood supply to flow through it. But when we have trash, when we have cholesterol, blood fat tissues, when we have hardening of the arteries because of plaque buildup and it's causing our blood vessel to get harder, it's not allowing that blood to flow through, and it begins to clot up because some things have to work harder. And when it clots up, what does it do? It leads to strokes and it leads to aneurysms. Have you ever talked to somebody on the phone and one day they're perfectly fine because they look good on the outside, and now you hear, oh my goodness, what happened? They just had an aneurysm. When I first heard that information about LeBron James' son, and he had just had a cardiac arrest, but he's in the prime of his life, a young guy in college, starting to play college ball, looking forward to hopefully one day playing with his father, but not knowing what's going on the cells of your body. Again, you should thank the person that gave you this scan because they're allowing you to see what's taking place. Now let's talk about the gut. Now there's a reason that I do this particular report and I show people this particular report, because if we had better gut health, we wouldn't be as frantic about the pandemic, about COVID and all the different viruses that come forth, because 70% of your immune system is in your gut. So now we're going to look at these two reports, the gastrointestinal function as well as your large intestines. Now, when we talk about the gastrointestinal, we're talking about the whole stomach area. And there's some things that are key here. First one is called pepsin. Look at your report and take a look and see, where are you on the left-hand side? If you're not in the green, you're in the blue, the yellow, or the red. In this example, it's in the yellow. What is pepsin? Pepsin is an enzyme. I like to call it your chewer. Why do I call it your chewer? Because it's responsible for breaking down protein in the food during your digestion. So I call it your chewer because most of us are not chewing enough. That, we're eating so fast. They say in France, people eat, and when they eat, it takes 2 hours to have their food. They eat their food. Not us. 5 minutes, 10 minutes. If 30 minutes at the max. We got quick lunches. We're eating and standing. We're not digesting. And so therefore, this pepsin, just remember now, this scan is showing you what's been going on in your body since you were a teenager up until now. So how long has pepsin been trying to work? Well, it's tired. It's tired of doing all the work for us. It's tired of breaking down the protein. So when it gets tired and it's not functioning as efficiently as it should, now you're feeling bloated. You're feeling constipated. You're feeling like you're not digesting properly. And then peristalsis, look at that one. Look at that one. What color is it in? Blue, yellow, or red if it's not in the green? Peristalsis is a muscle that contracts and moves your food down to your bowels. Now, you got the pepsin that's crunching it up, digesting it for you, and then you got the food moving because we're not chewing it enough. So we got a whole piece of apple going down there, and over time, this muscle is saying, I can't do it anymore. I'm so tired of working. So here you are, you're eating, that apple is not digesting, and now guess what? The food starts backing up because it's crowded. It's crowded in that whole digestive system, and it backs up, and that's called what? Acid reflux. Or either it just sits there and you're wondering why you're bloated when you eat certain kinds of food, or you're wondering why you're constipated because now this muscle is no longer moving your food because, number one, they didn't teach us about digestion. According to the Mayo Clinic, after you eat, it takes about 6 to 8 hours for food to pass through your stomach and your small intestines. They say it takes about 36 hours for food to move through the entire colon. Who right now, listen to me, who waits 36 hours before you eat again? No, you've eaten again and again and again. And that's why there's so much waste sitting in our gut. They say we hold 10 to 12 pounds of waste in our gut. That's why we got to flush. It's like having a toilet that you never flushed. in your body. And then they didn't teach us about digestion. Say you've got a plate of food and you've got some strawberries, because fruit is easy to digest. You see the times on the screen. Now, and then you got some rice, and then you got some chicken. Now on here it says without the skin, but you know you're eating it with the skin, right? So now you eat your strawberries and your digestive tract says, oh, okay, I got this. I can digest this. But then all of a sudden you eat some rice or potatoes. And so your digestive tract says, hold up, strawberries, I can't work with you right now because this rice or these potatoes are a priority. I've got to start working on them. So the strawberries just sit there. And then you start eating some chicken with the skin. And your digestive system says, hold up, potatoes and rice, hold up, strawberries. I can't do this. I've got to start working on this meat. And it starts working on digesting and breaking the meat down, your peristalsis and your pepsin. And guess what? The rest of the food is still just sitting there. And that's why we feel bloated. That's why we get constipated. And that's why we end up having our food to back up. And it's mainly because what we don't know. See, we don't know that any time that you eat something from an animal, and that's, I don't care what animal it is, if it's got eyes and its body temperature is higher than yours, your body has to work harder to digest it. What am I saying? I'm saying if it's the cow, it's higher than yours. If it's the pig, it's higher than yours. So your body's having a hard time digesting. If it's the turkey, oh, now you understand why Thanksgiving, everybody's passed out when we eat. Because look at the body temperature of the normal body temperature of the turkey. Yeah. And then, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. Don't shoot the messenger. Yes, the chicken. And how many of us love our chicken? But this is why so many people are starting to become pescatarians and do more fish and salmon, because look at the body temperature, the normal body temperature of the fish. It's less than ours. So that means it's easier to digest. But if you've been eating the cow, the pig, the turkey, and the chicken, and anything else, the lamb, I mean, I could go on and on, then you already know what's going on in your gut. And we already know what's looking at your results. Now let's look at absorption. So if we're backed up with pepsin, the peristalsis, what does it mean? Mean we're clogged up. If your sink at home is clogged up, would you do something about it? Sure, you're going to get a plunger, you're going to get some Drano, you're going to do something. But we get clogged up inside our body and absolutely do nothing. And now we're not even absorbing. And you say to me, but I'm taking vitamins, I'm on medication. But guess what? If you're not absorbing those things, you're wasting your money. A lot of people could be taking medication and the doctor say, well, that pill's not working. We're going to take another. We're going to try another one. Could it be that their gastrointestinal area is so clogged up that even the medication is not doing what it's supposed to do? And then because we've got certain foods that are causing mucus. Oh, I know. You love your dairy. You love your bread. You love your cheese. You love, oh my goodness, we could go on and on. The fast food, they're killing us. Remember Chewicide? And it's hindering the bloodstream from flowing. And now we see us operating and causing so many allergies and colds and deficiencies. And then the same thing is happening over and over again. We saw the stomach area, now the small intestines, the same thing. Looking at your report, the peristalsis and your absorption, where is it? Maybe your small intestines is like this one and you're doing better in your small intestines. But now let's go to the next report, the large intestines, the colon. Same principle, peristalsis and absorption. How is that food moving through your large intestines? How is it absorbing? Is it in the left hand, in the blue, the yellow, or the red? Because understand that your colon, if we took it out and stretched it out, they say it would be the length of a quarter of a football field. But it's not made like that in our body. It's all, and so that food has got to travel through. And so it's having a difficult time. And that's why we're feeling the bloated, the backed up. That's why we find out we're having intestinal bacteria. That's our third item on this test. Where is it? Is it in the blue? Is it in the yellow, or is it in the red? Let me tell you something. So many foods are causing that intestinal bacteria that we're eating. And then even stress. Stress will back you up. Alcohol, coffee, tobacco, smoking, all of these things. Sometimes we have these restrictive diets that are even causing intestinal bacteria. So we got to clean it out. We got to flush it out. We got to flush. If you're going to flush the toilet, we got to flush this mess that's on the inside of us, because it's putting pressure. That's the fourth item, interluminal pressure. It's putting pressure on the walls of your intestines, because just like your arteries, it's only so wide. And when it puts pressure on there, now you're wondering why you're constipated. You're wondering why you've got IBS. You're wondering why, even if it's not enough pressure, it's causing diarrhea or incomplete evacuation. You go to the bathroom and you never finish. You just do a little bit, then you got to go again. See, we've got to clean our gut out. Now let's go to the next report. The next report is the liver. And let me tell you something. This liver report to me is really one of the most important reports that we have in this bioscan. One of the most important reports that we show people, because it represents the filtration, or how well your body's filtering. And like I said earlier, some things you can't do anything about. They're shooting up the chickens, the cows, and the turkeys. They're spraying stuff on your fruits and vegetables. And even though you wash them, you don't get all that stuff out. But your liver represents your protein metabolism, your energy production. You're wondering why you're really tired all the time. Oh, let's look at your liver report. Are you detoxing? Let's look at your liver report. Because the job of your liver is to filter. It's just like when you change the oil in your car every 33,000 miles, they also change the oil filter. Now, what if they didn't change the filter and they just changed the oil? Then you'd have clean oil going through a dirty filter. What does that represent? Dirty oil. And that's what's happening inside of our bodies, ladies and gentlemen. We've got dirty blood because this liver is not doing the filtering that it should, or because we're not creating the bile secretion. That's the fourth item that you're looking there. Bile secretion, you get it drinking water, drinking and eating foods that are bitter. I'm guilty, don't like bitter foods, but it helps create bile secretion. But the most important one that I really want to focus on is the liver fat content. Do you have a fatty liver? If you're looking at your report and you're not in the green and you're in the blue, the yellow, or the red, I hate to tell you, but you've got a fatty liver. And I know if you're like me, I'm a baby boomer, and they always told me that the only people that had cirrhosis of the liver were the people who were alcoholics. Lies. Because remember, I said this is all about progression. Nothing happens overnight. It happens over time. And if you're looking at your report and you're in the blue, the yellow, or the red, and you have a fatty liver because it's not in the green, guess what? If it continues to progress, over time, it moves to fibrosis of the liver and eventually cirrhosis of the liver. And it's called non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And it is potentially as fatal as if you were drinking a bottle of vodka every single day. So for you to tell me, I don't drink anything. Well, guess what? Fatty liver disease, because that liver is hardening and it's not filtering. So it's allowing all of that trash to travel through your bloodstream. And that's doing what? Leading to your heart. So now all that stuff we saw in your heart and your other areas of your body, we saw the cholesterol, we saw the vascular resistance, we saw the vascular elasticity, we saw all the stuff getting to your brain. It's traveling because the liver is not filtering it out. So what we need to do, we need to cleanse the liver. We need to flush this liver. And you're going to hear me talk about that. We're going to hear us talk about that. All right, kidney. Let's talk about the kidney. Oh my goodness. Let me tell you something. They're killing us with all of this stuff that's got chemicals in it. Yep, called medication. And don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying you shouldn't take medication at all. I'm not saying that. Don't leave here saying that. I am saying that we should live our lives being programmed to believe this is the only option, because that urobilinogen index is really directly related to medication. When I see it in the red, it's usually somebody that's on medication. They've been taking medication for a long time because it's chemicals. And uric acid, the same thing. And especially for those, when I see somebody with uric acid and it's in the red, I say, you sure do love your beef, don't you? Because they're going to be meat eaters. And I don't just mean beef only. I mean anything that's got eyes. And when that's over there, uric acid crystallizes, it gets in your joints, goes down to your big toe. That's called gout. And I've never had a person that was in the red that has not already experienced gout. I've had some in the yellow that are already experiencing some crystallizing in their joints, let's say in their knuckles or something. And one guy asked me, is that why I feel something going on in my hip? I said, that's a joint. And then the blood urea and the protein urea, all of this is telling you how well is your kidney functioning? How far are you moving in the stages of kidney disease? Ladies and gentlemen, it's intentional what's taking place in the society that we live in. There's a fast food restaurant on every corner, all across the street, competing against each other. And then down the street is a dialysis center. And they're putting us on the filtration system because that's the job of your kidney. It's a filtration system. And when it's not functioning, they got to put you on a man-made filtration system waiting for you to get a kidney transplant. And then when you get the kidney transplant, then you've got to get more medication because you've got somebody else's kidney. And the last report we're going to talk about tonight is your body acidic or alkaline? How many of you have ever heard that term, acidic or alkaline? Do you really understand it? Well, if you don't, do you understand that when you go get a Duracell battery, they call that an alkaline battery? And now you take the battery, you put it in your player. Back in the day, it used to be boom boxes and stuff, or you put it in your remote, and it works and it works and it works and it works and it works, and then it slows down. So it stops working. Why? Because it's no longer alkaline, it has become acidic. Our bodies become acidic because of our diet, because of toxins, and because of stress. So when we're looking at this last report, is your body acidic? Is it on the red or yellow or the blue as it relates to response ability, how well you're responding, or are you reacting? You think you're just having a bad day. It could be possibly your body's acidic. Your mental power, your water shortage, the water shortage that's in your body that's supposed to protect your cells, the hypoxia, that's the oxygen, all of that's to protect your cells. And then the pH. Now notice, your pH doesn't have a blue or a yellow. It's either red or green. Either you are alkaline or either you're acidic. It's no in between. But I want you to be encouraged. If you're in the red, now look at your numbers. See, like in this particular report, it's in the red, but the number is 3.003. So this person is only 0.1 away from being acidic. So I believe that if we just get them to cleanse, we're going to see that number move and possibly that person will be in the green. But what does that mean? That means you've got to be on the spectrum, the pH spectrum from 7, 8, 9, and 10 more than you are from 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now you got to look at this and say, where do you spend most of your time? I just had a conversation with a brother just the other day. He said, I'm right there, number 3, all the time, right there. That's where I live, right there. See, 3, 4, 5, and 6 means your body's acidic, and that's where disease thrives. Disease cannot thrive. It cannot survive in an alkaline environment, 7, 8, 9, or 10. That's why what you're going to hear, the solution, because we didn't come here just to show you what the problems are and not give you a solution. You're going to see that the solution is to get you into 7, 8, 9, and 10. And one of the things you got to do is stop eating crap. I'm just saying, don't shoot the messenger. Stop eating crap and heed to the warning. I live in Houston, Texas, and we have hurricanes from time to time. But even when the hurricane does not come, they always give us a warning. And guess what? When that warning comes on television or the radio or whatever way it comes, we do something. We go to the store, we get water, we get foods that you don't have to cook, we get batteries in case the lights go out. We do something, even if the storm doesn't come. All I'm saying to you tonight, as you're listening to this, as you're looking at your report, wherever you see yourself in the yellow, the red, the blue, let's do something. What's that something going to do? We're going to flush. We're going to flush out the toxins and the mucus, the waste. We're going to flush out the parasites and the plaque buildup that's taken place over time. And we're going to do that using juicing and using fruits and vegetables and using smoothies. But I'm going to give you the solution. Matter of fact, I'm not going to do it. I've got a lady that's going to come. She's passionate about what she does. She loves people. She's a mother, grandmother, an entrepreneur. She's an econopreneur, and she's a certified wellness coach. Miss Anna Gallagher, are you out there?
I am here, Dr. Roz. Good evening, everyone. Right back to you, awesome. Good evening. We're going to select one or the other, a 7-day refresh or a 21-day reset. And all these will include your meal plans, your grocery list, and any proven products. Get this jump started and get you on your way to a healthy journey. On your refresh, you're going to lose unwanted pounds. All of us want to do that. You're going to refresh your mind, your body, and your soul in just 7 days. Now, on the reset, you're going to do the same thing, but you're going to reduce some belly fat, inflammation, and drop the waist, the WASTE, in 21 days. You can take our 7 or 21-day raw cleanse, and it's one of the best ways to elevate your energy. It's by detoxifying your body, and there's 4 ways. Step 1, the eliminator. It eliminates excess mucus and parasites. It's a powder. 1 teaspoon in 8 ounces of water every morning. It's going to help you eliminate this mucus. Number 2, the purifier. This is a tea. It cleans the colon. It detoxifies your bodily organs. You drop the bag in 45 ounces of water after it starts boiling. You move it off of the eye, cover it up, let it sit out overnight, and then the next morning pour it in a pitcher or jar, whatever you prefer, and you drink only 4 ounces each evening before 8 o'clock, except for the first day you'll drink 4 ounces in the morning and 4 ounces in the evening before 8. Step 3, this is the regenerator. This is also a powder. It replenishes vitamins and minerals. All this is herbs. You add this to your raw smoothie of your choice. All these items, the beetroot, all of this is herbs. 2 teaspoons full in your raw smoothie of your choice or either your juice. The Flat Belly Blaster Hemp Protein goes with step 3. You also add to your raw smoothie 2 teaspoons full or into your 16 ounces or 24 ounces of juice, whichever way you are doing it. Now, the most powerful superfruit on the planet Earth, yes, you heard me right, the Arona berry juice. This juice, it accelerates your weight loss. Tastes delicious. It reduces inflammation. It only takes 1.5 ounces twice a day, in the morning and in the evening. And the ORAC score of 41,000 is off the chain, you all. What is an ORAC score? This helps us to understand all the berries that we've always told was just wonderful for you, for your body, your everything. Because the ORAC score you see right here is higher than all the berries. It's protecting our cells from damage that's caused by harmful substance in our body. The higher the score, the better they are at keeping us healthy. So you can see it for yourself. It's the highest berry. All these products you see on the screen, I'm not going to read them out to you because I know all of you out there know how to read. But you can get these at the grocery of your choice. They work with the juices. Everything you see here. Of course, the almonds, the pecans, all of those, no honey roasted. Get your free grocery guide. Get your free group coaching. This is the only place you're going to get a free group coaching. See our raw warriors. Look, the before and the after. You can't beat that. We don't have to hire actors. We've got real people here that did the 21-day cleanse. Real people, every last one of them. We're going to let you hear from our CSO. She took the pledge, and she's going to tell you how it worked out for her.
I was able to lose 14 pounds, 6 inches. And I love the way I look. I'm not going to lie. I am loving this. But let me tell you what I love even more. I dropped my cholesterol 50 points. Blood pressure stabilized. And my doctor and I have been fighting for the last 5 years because she wanted to put me on a statin, and I absolutely refused. And she told me I would never change my cholesterol, lower it, by diet alone. Well, you can know how excited I felt when I had dropped it 50 points. I want to be optimally healthy until the day I just close my eyes and I'm not here anymore. I hope you join us.
Back to you, Dr. Roz.
Thank you, Miss Anna. Fantastic, fantastic. So now listen, guys, now that you understand how to flush this, you took the bioscan. That person that gave you that bioscan, they showed you 4 items, they showed you 6 items, but there's so much more to the bioscan report. And I'm telling you, you need to know about everything else. There are over 45 different organs that came up during that report. You want to know what's going on with your gallbladder, your pancreatic function. You want to know what's going on even with your lungs. How about if you've got, if you're leading towards rheumatoid bone disease? What about your blood sugar? What about what vitamins are you deficient in? Well, listen, you can get this full report. Get back with the person who did the bioscan, and they can give you access to this. $30. You're going to Zelle them, or you're going to email them, or Cash App them or something. Get that, because you need to know this is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Ladies, you need to know what's going on in the area of your breast. The men need to know what's going on in your prostate before you get diagnosed with it. And do you know your blood type? Matter of fact, if you know your blood type, put it in the chat right now. Do you know your blood type? Do you know why you need to know your blood type? Because you may be eating in the blind. See, your blood type is a more reliable measure of who you really are than your race, your culture, or your geography. It's your genetic blueprint. And why is that important? Because you could be eating something that's poisonous or toxic to your blood type. Now you understand. This is why you're bloated. This is why you can't lose any weight or got this waist backing up all the time, because you're blood type A and you should not even be eating bananas. You're blood type B, oh my God, and you shouldn't be eating chicken. You're blood type O and you shouldn't be drinking white wine. And it's not what you do some of the time, it's what you do most of the time. If you're blood type A and bananas is in your cereal every morning, now we understand why you may have an autoimmune disease. But until you know your blood type, and we have a blood type test kit. Hold on here, I lost my screen. We have a blood type test kit to let you know what your blood type is. It takes about 5 minutes. You can do it from the comfort of your home. Everything you need is in the blood type kit. You're the person that invited you here, the person that scanned you, the person that told you about this can definitely make sure you can go to the website and order. They may have them with them. Now, it's time to get the cleanse. I know by now you know, based on what you looked at in your report, that you need to cleanse. Everybody needs to cleanse. Everybody needs to detox. We need to either reset or refresh. You heard Miss Anna talking about it. The 21-day is the one that we really, really want people to do, because you got to get this thing started. But I know, I'm a realist. Everybody can't do 21 days raw. You see that key word, raw. Raw fruits and vegetable salad. That means no cook. That means the electricity bill goes down. That means you don't turn the stove or the microwave on. Somebody asked me about the air fryer. No, not the air fryer either. 21 days, $350, 7 days, $139. You get all of those 4 items that Ms. Anna just talked about. The only thing you got to get is pay the money for your groceries, for your salad, or for your juice, or for your smoothie. But you need to get this now. You need to set aside the time and make sure you're going to do it. Now, if you're a person, and this is what happens, when you start doing this cleanse, we don't make claims, but people do. Changes take place in your body. If you go back and look at some of my old Facebook pictures, you see a slimmer face. People say, what did you do? What are you doing? You're looking so good. You're glowing. You're losing weight. We can see it. Wouldn't it be cool not only to say what you did, but to send them to your website? That's what this coach, this Pearl Lifestyle Pack allows you to do. If you see it's, now I told you 21 days is $350. The Pearl Lifestyle Pack is $399. Look at that. It includes the 21-day cleanse, but it also includes other products, over $400 worth of products. Our pain cream that's great for neuropathy and any kind of pain in your joints, in your back, or wherever. Gummies that help you sleep well at night, give you that REM sleep. And you have your own website, and we send you through training. So you now can send people to your own website. And then please let me throw this pitch in before I leave tonight. We need wellness coaches. If you are a person that loves people, you care about people, you want to see their lives change, and the person that gave you the scan, you'd like to be one of those persons, we will teach you how to do it. We will let you go through our entire wellness coaching certification. We call it the Diamond Coach Pack. Now I'm going to round this off. It's really about $2,000 because it's $14.99 allows you to go through the wellness coach, but then an additional $500 is what you need to get the scan equipment. And you really don't want one without the other. And then you get over $1,600 in product. It's over $3,000 in total value. So it's a perfect way for you to become, you get a certificate, we go through, yeah, you got to take a test, but oh my God, all the training, all the teaching that you need for you to become an Akana certified wellness coach. But either way, whatever your decision is today, thank you for being here first and foremost. Thank you for taking the time to learn the results of your scan. Thank you for being here, because this is a detox that gives your body a break. Our body needs a break, ladies and gentlemen, to self-cleanse, because God made our bodies to heal itself. And then together, we can elevate with Akana. So I get back with the person that invited you. Listen, you're going to make a difference in your life just because you made the right choice and the right decision. Have a great night, everybody. Get back with the person that scanned you, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye for now.
Thank you, Dr. Ross.
Great presentation. Thank you.